And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original movie, Pieces of a Woman. When a young mother's home birth ends in unfathomable tragedy, she begins a year-long odyssey of mourning that fractures relationships with loved ones in this deeply personal story of a woman learning to live alongside her loss. This film stars Shia LaBeouf, Vanessa Kirby. You know the type of style of film if you've seen White God or Jupiter's Moon, very arty, very beautiful to look at. So the cinematography in this film is gonna leave you thinking, wow, that's pretty in certain scenes, I guess. Even though it's very kind of standard in housing and complex, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to like really good looking cinematography, but somehow with the color palettes, the way it's shot, still looks very pretty. It is not a happy film. It's over 2 hours long, and if you are emotionally easily affected by certain films of certain genres, then I might suggest you avoiding this particular one. If you have had a loss of a child, this is definitely going to affect you on a really personal level. I want to tell you a little story before I get into my review properly. So I've studied television and film production, and way back when I had a lecturer who used to say things that I didn't quite agree with, and one of that was that you can't put certain films or just entertainment on a pedestal to where it's responsible for affecting you in a certain way. Films shouldn't be able to do that. This is what they were saying in the whole. So I am taking it out of context, so I realize that. But one of the things is said that it's on the person who, if they allow the film to affect them that way, then that's on them. So for an example, there was a film called Child's Play that two teens went and killed a baby. I know, a very harsh topic, because they'd seen this film and it had affected them. So most would say that those kids were mentally unstable. I would agree 100% with that. But saying that film doesn't affect you on an emotional level, I think, is a very, very wrong thinking. Because why are we watching that if we're not to be engaged in humor and laughing, in joy, in sorrow, in sadness, in depression? Those themes, if you can't tell a story and it doesn't affect you on a deep emotional level in some way, then it's not really doing its job. And not since the film that I recently watched on Netflix called Mother have I been affected as emotionally as that. So Mother is a film that I probably will never watch again because it is very, very depressing, and it's a story that is fantastically acted, fantastically shot, but again, you won't want to watch it again. I have reviews, so if you are like, well, what's he talking about, it can't be that bad, check out my review, have a look at the commentary or the comment section. You'll see that people agree with me on that. So here we have a film about a husband and wife who lose their baby. In the first half an hour, probably 40 minutes, is them just experiencing being pregnant, the whole birth. You see a lot. It doesn't skimp on the birth. And obviously something goes wrong. And so we get a year in this woman's life that you get to go on this tragic story of how she deals with having lost her child and who gets affected by it. And so you see relationships fracture. Shia LaBeouf I thought was excellent, even though in the real world he's he's messed up his relationships. When it comes to acting, he really takes on those personalities. He becomes those characters. You completely buy that they're going through this. And so I thought their on-screen presence together, not necessarily chemistry, this definitely is chemistry, but the way they act together, you believe that they're this couple that have gone through this. And so you feel every emotional beat that the film wants you to feel. I will say it's long, and it probably sometimes doesn't need to be, certain scenes don't need to be as long or as harsh. There is only so much of like this drama and really depressing stuff that you can watch as a viewer. There needs to be something to let it up, to give you a moment of hope. And this film doesn't do that. It's just a very stark story of what some people in the real world have gone through. It's a story that I know a few of my friends have gone through, and so seeing that and experiencing that, it's not something that I need really coming out of 2020, and now in 2021 where life is hard enough. Normally I like to review escapism films, but there are films like this that are basically a show showing of what actors can do, and so when they get some really, really meaty stuff, you see actors shine. And I feel like that's like a showcase for these actors that just proves once again why art is so important, why entertainment is so important. So this is very much drama. It's going to hit you in the emotional feels regardless of whether you had children. I think you will feel the emotional beats, the story that they are trying to get across to you, from the actors, from the way the sets are dressed, to the score, which is fantastic. It's very melancholy, very in tone with what the story is telling you. Everything is right for the story, but I would also say it's just a little word of caution. If you are easily emotionally affected, if you have lost a loved one, if you have lost a loved one in this way and you don't want to get into that, then I would say hold on to maybe when you're in an emotional moment or you're strong, you're feeling okay, because I feel like at points during this film you might find yourself bawling, regardless of whether you're a dude or a lady, because it's a tough watch. Not to say that it isn't excellent, but it is a tough watch. I do think it's a little bit long in the teeth, over 2 hours. Some things they didn't need to show too much. That's just my personal preference. I think 1 hour 40 would have been fine, but then again, there's certain scenes that I thought I could have had more with, and I would have liked it. A fruition on some of the storylines. I think the Shia LaBeouf story, I would have liked a little bit more there, but that's just me. I think as a whole this film is excellent, so I'm going to give it an A-. Let me know in the comments below, are you going to give it a go, or do you steer clear from films like this? I don't blame you. What is the most depressing film you've ever seen? Apart from Mother, I think Deer Hunter's up there for me. Let me know in the comments, what is your favourite Shia LaBeouf film as well. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.